Hello. What's going on? We got a message coming right up for you, whoever you are. This message be true to guide you, whoever you are, to help you, to protect you, to shelter you. Let the message come through. Blessed be. First card is the Four of Swords. Alright, we got some negative energy going on here. Could be negative energy, or it could be a still mind. Maybe a time to seek mental rest, quietness from the noise and just kind of shutting everything out here. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, that's a good thing. We all need that from time to time. We got the Lovers. We've got the Lovers. In my last couple of readings, I felt like they were love readings, but the Lovers card didn't pop out. Ooh, something else just popped out. Six of Wands, but in reverse. Let's pull a few more cards before we start this reading here. The Hangman in reverse. Two of Swords in reverse. Nine of Cups in reverse. Alright, so it looks like the main focus is the Lovers. So this is definitely something to do with a relationship, or the want to be in a relationship. And maybe a little bit of a detachment from a relationship, or considering that. Consideration of detaching from a relationship. Maybe somebody's thinking about, adding some distance in their current relationship right now, or their current love interest. Somebody's doubting. Somebody has some doubt here. They could be afraid. Or they could be putting too much thought into something, and maybe fear is making a space between you two. It's like there's a rush to, thinking the worst. There's a rush to that. And it brings disappointment. There's indecision here. Somebody doesn't know what to do with this situation. We got the Six of Cups in reverse. There's a calling here to not look behind you and just look forward here. If this is a pattern of yours, if you are somebody who, kind of bottles in or becomes afraid when you start a relationship, maybe this is telling you to try a different hat on, do something different here. Don't run. There's a element of maturity here, like an energy of being mature, maybe seeing things from a different perspective, so that you don't feel stuck, so that you don't feel a lack of confidence in whatever's possible between you and this person. The Justice card came out in the upright. There's a reason. Whoever this reading is for, if you are somebody who can relate to this, where, when things get a little tough, you want to run, or you want to shut down, or you want to bottle in, wherever your mental thoughts start taking over, like fear, anxiety, thinking the worst, jumping to the worst conclusions here, getting ahead of whatever the situation actually is in reality, but in your mind, all those things. If you are somebody who tends to be that way when, this happens in a relationship that you're in, if you notice this is a pattern of yours, there's a reason for that. There's a lesson to be learned here, and it has nothing to do with the actual partner you're with. It has nothing to do with maybe even the thoughts that you're thinking, but it may have more to do with the energy that you're feeling through this. Maybe there's a message here for you to stop and pay attention to the feeling of this, and maybe totally digest this, totally kind of focus on that, how it makes you feel. Maybe you need to ask yourself why you're feeling these things. You know, ask yourself if there really is a reason for you to feel these negative thoughts, you know, feeling this doom or thinking the worst when it comes to, you know, being with somebody or even getting over a certain hump, you know, when relationships get tough. Whatever it is, whatever this is, there's a reason you're going through it, and there's a call for you to kind of dig deeper as to why this continues to happen to you. You know, life is about growing, life is about maturing, life is about feeding the spirit. It's about leveling up in the spirit realm. You know, it's not just about leveling up in the material world, getting a better job, having a bigger, you know, having a family, or moving up in your life. It's not always just about that. That could be part of it, depending on you and what your goal is, you know, who you are. But there's a part of it where spiritual graduation, if that makes sense, you know, leveling up in your spirit, understanding the separation between you and your ego, between your spirit and your ego, all the things that have happened to you from the point you were born until now, you know, the characteristics and developments of who you are, you know, and why those things have panned out. When you take all of those things and strip them away from you and you just have your inner spirit, those are two huge different elements here. And there's something to look at with that. There's something to be learned here, is what I'm saying. For you to understand truly who you are, not just through the lens of who you've become as a makeup of what the world has created for you, you know, your environment, your environmental factors, your genetics, your family, your upbringing, you know, your positive, your negative experiences growing up, everything that has shaped you. You know, those things play a big part in who you are, but it's not everything of who you are. We are all children of God. We are all connected to this universe, and our true purpose here is beyond, you know, the makeups of who we've become. It's so beyond that, but we don't really always carry the right lenses to see it. Maybe if we're lucky, sometimes in our life we'll feel a glimpse of it in our heart, you know. Maybe if we're lucky, sometimes in our life we'll see a glimmer of it in someone's eyes when we look deep into them, you know. Little moments like that, if we're lucky, we get little previews of these things, but we're not always at a place in this world to fully absorb the reality of who we truly are. And there are times when we go through these difficult situations. I'm talking about the situations where we keep telling ourselves, why me? You know, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I feel stuck? Why can't I get out of this circle here? You know, whatever your thing is that you can't shake loose, whatever that is, you know, there's a lesson tied to that. And this reading is calling you to look at that. It's calling you to stop beating yourself up and asking yourself, why me? You know, why this, why that? And putting yourself and your energy more and more down. It's asking you to go past that and open the curtain and look beyond that, you know, so you can understand the connection here as to why this is really happening. Maybe even for you to understand beyond those curtains how empowered you truly are, despite this feeling of being weighed down from whatever the makeup is that caused you to feel that you can't get out of this circle. Because we truly are more than what we think we are. We truly are more than what we're told, than what we're taught. When we were in school, teachers, if we were lucky to have loving teachers, they saw, how each and every one of us had something special in us. We were young, we were little, we were molded. We were shaped into growing into this world. And the world is very difficult sometimes, many times. But we grow and we expand it in any way. And we adjust to it. And we survive in it. If we're lucky, we survive. And if we're luckier, we pass it to something else. Because no matter what, we're always growing. Whether it's in this life or the next. We're always growing here. And I think something that helps us is to be aware of that. Is to be able to look past what we're shown here and what we're made to feel here, and to dig deeper. To think with a different side here, to activate that other part of you here that recognizes way beyond this, so that it takes you out of this fear, so that it lifts you out of this boxed mentality where you can't, or you won't, or you feel you're not good enough, or you're beating yourself up because whatever the negative thing is in your life that makes you feel suppressed, that makes you feel like you're in a box contained. You have the ability to think beyond that. You have the ability to give yourself the energy where you're connected. And that connection makes you feel more freer than anything you've ever felt. It's one of the most glorious feelings anybody can ever feel in this lifetime. And it's so sad when we're distracted with such unimportant things, on television, on social media, on whatever it is. We're constantly being distracted from reaching that goal, from having these enlightened feelings, these enlightened experiences, these experiences of connection with one another, these experiences of being connected with God, of being connected with your ancestors, your protectors, whoever and whatever you believe in, the universe. All of those things they're infinite. They are infinite, and we have the ability to connect ourselves with those things. So there is never reason for us to sit around and mope and to lock ourselves in a box that doesn't exist, only because we were taught to do so. Only because we were taught this is how you feel. This is how you're supposed to feel, or this keeps happening to you, so you just got to deal with it, or this keeps happening to you, so it must be, something about you, whatever it is. All of that negative talk is one road, and all the positive and the open doors and the flowing energy is another road. And if there's anything we were ever given, it is the power of choice. Yeah. Whew. So, I hope this message helped you, because I know it helped me. And we're here to help each other. So, if it did, please let me know. Hit me a heart. Show me some love. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope everybody has a blessed night. Take care and bye-bye.